everyone? My name's Andrew. This is Canadian Starships. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Let me know, because last time I did this, there was nobody seeing me, nobody hearing me. I'd gone through the whole intro, the whole everything, realized I hadn't pressed start stream. You'd think 3 weeks not streaming, and I completely forget how to do this whole thing. But hopefully it's all working now. If you can see me, if you can hear me, let me know. Leave a comment right there. And that way that I'll know that everything is working the way that it's supposed to be working. Yes, we can see you. Yes, we can hear you. Perfect. That is good. Yeah. Went through the whole countdown. Went through my intro. Realized I couldn't see how many people were watching, which made me think, what's going on? And I looked around a little bit, and well, I'd forgotten to press start the stream. So I was talking away to no one, but we are back. It's been a month. We are back, though. Had a week where the family was sick and I wasn't live streaming. Had a week where allergies hit like a ton of bricks and I wasn't live streaming. I'm allergic to ragweed. I finally figured it out. It's every year pretty much. And I've been kind of eliminating things, but got it narrowed down to ragweed. And we live behind a conservation area with our city's airport just beyond a field, and there's just a field of the stuff. So that is clearly what it was, and I was in no shape to live stream that night. And then last Saturday night was a family wedding, which I officiated. So I kind of had to be there. So we are back in the shop and finally getting back to getting work done on this thing here, because I need to get this ready to look more like this one over here. So I really have to kick things into gear. It is a little scary that there's only 235 days left till Wonderfest. So we really have to get things kicking, because I've got an I've got an Excelsior project to do. Unfortunately, that hasn't arrived in the shop yet. So I'm not behind on that, but I've got 2 Enterprise E's to finish off. I've got an Enterprise D 1400 scale to finish off. Then I've got the Excelsior and Enterprise D 1400 to, so the 350 Excelsior and 1400 D to do for Wonderfest. So I've got a lot of stuff to do, so I've really got to kind of kick things into gear and get things done. But September has been just a crazy month. Well, but how are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? Let me know in the chat. Let's see. So Todd was here right off the bat. Let's see. Hello, Todd. Welcome. We've got Stephen Haynes here. Hi, Stephen. Welcome to the live stream. Let's see. Hagen is here. Welcome, Hagen. So yeah, it looks like that's who is here tonight so far. If you're here, let me know you're here. Leave a comment. I like to know who it is that I'm talking to, especially when I'm talking on my own. It's nice to know who it is in the chat that I'm talking to, so I can kind of have some conversations going on. I got a box left on my doorstep. And finally, Following Ghost is here. And let's see. And Dave Austin is here. Welcome, everyone. And Hagen says, been the same, just busy, but got to get back, but getting back into gear yet. I don't know what it's going to be like. October is one of our busiest months in our family. We've got 2 birthdays, Thanksgiving. One of the birthdays is on Thanksgiving. And yes, and so and our wedding anniversary is tomorrow. So it is a busy month. October is a busy can't talk. October is a busy month for our family. But I need to get this done. It just needs to get done. Needs to get done. Don't worry, I don't have get her done-itis. I'm not going to rush through and do a sloppy mess of it just because I want to get it done. But I just want to get it done. So let's see. Everybody's saying howdy and hi and hello to each other, which is awesome. All right, I'm just gonna leave a little star so I know where I left off. But I'm gonna grab a box because a box came and was placed on my doorstep, and this has been a bit of a journey. I don't know if you can tell because my chair is in the way, but there's no counter underneath my monitor, and there's always a counter there counting up the YouTube subscriptions. So my counter stopped working. Well, one of the flaps stopped working and wasn't even recognized by the counter. And they told me to send it back in. They didn't fix it. They sent me another one. But what they sent me, and let's see if I can get you a picture just so you see kind of what I was dealing with there. Oh, there we go. With multiple different screens, trying to find File Explorer sometimes when it comes up can be a little bit tricky. Now, what am I looking for? I am looking for my Dropbox, and I'm looking for my backed up photos, and I am looking for ones that are not there. But I know it's on my phone, so give me one moment. Just chat amongst yourself while I grab this photo for you. Let's see. I want to dump this into Dropbox. There's always okay, save to Dropbox, save here. It's uploading, which means it should show up on my screen now, so I can drop it into my software. I should be able to drop it into my software. Oh, well, if not, I can always share my screen. I have to choose the correct screen because it for some reason has selected the wrong screen. Let's see, is this selecting the correct one? Yes, it is. Here we go. So this is what they sent me. The logo print on my counter was pretty terrible. Now, granted, it is being printed on wood, but the first one I had was far better. So I told them I was not happy with that. So let me take the cellophane off of this one and have a quick look. And oh yeah, can you see? That's considerably better. So we've got a brand new counter that'll go over there. It's got to be configured and everything like that, but at least we know that it is good to go. And I'm not going to have to send it back again because these things come from France. So it does take a little bit of time. All right. Let's see. Here's the beast. Here's the beastie. And here's my face in the upper corner. And we're going to see what's going on. All right. What I've been working on. I'm just going to bring this over so I can kind of keep an eye on you guys while I'm working on this. So unfortunately, not a whole lot of progress since last we met. But the area here has been worked on, and it looks like an utter mess here. So we're going to work on that a little bit tonight. Let's see. I want to make sure that I've got everything that I want going on here. Let me take a quick peek at the HTM Discord. There's no sign yet that there's going to be a second stream tonight. Usually, what seems to happen these days is that Jody will stream following my stream. Oh, and yes, I have my. Where's my live stream? Here. Hold on. Here we go. I do have my tea, Earl Grey, hot tonight. So don't worry, the world is not coming to an end. Let me see if I can show you on this camera. It's an absolute mess in here right now. That's just from the sanding process. And do I have my camera here set up ready to go? Let's see. VDO Ninja. VDO dot Ninja. Let's do this. There we go. Here we go. Aha! All right. Sometimes, I haven't used this in a while, it gives me a new link and I can't just quickly move to the hands-free camera, but let me give you a little look-see here. I have to work around the nacelle. Here's where we've been working. And what I've done is I've had to build this piece here out to match the bottom. For some reason on this kit, this edge is not wide enough and does not match the bottom. So a little bit more refinement to do here. I need to deal with this spot here where it blends in. Oh, it's struggling a little bit. Camera's struggling. That's okay. Where it blends into this part here. So we're going to work on that a little bit tonight. So let's switch back over to the ship cam. And get my face in there. There we go. And we will start getting some work done on it. Let's see. Hagen says, looking good, and says something exciting. I just had a space stock model printed by the same shop that prints the Helios models, 24 inches tall. That's 2 feet, right? So how many Wayne heads is that? Let's see. I must have a tape measure here somewhere. Right there. You can't see. So, woo! 2 feet. Pretty cool. Let's see. And it'll probably be the same kind of long-term project, I would imagine. I would love to do one of those. Let's see. Alan Kelly's here. Welcome, Alan. Welcome to the live stream. Says welcome back. Well, thank you. And Stephen Haynes is saying hi to Alan. And Hagen says 19290 scale. It's nuts. The refit would be 1.29 inches. Yeah, the thing is huge. I would love to do a nice size copy of that at some point. But we shall see. All right. I am in need of some fresh water in my bin. So I'm going to leave you for a moment with some video of the other Enterprise D while I just refresh my water. So you'll just have to entertain yourself looking at that because I don't have somebody with me today producing. So give me one moment. All right, I am back. I've got some fresh water, so there we go. One day the dream will be to have a fully functioning work sink in the shop, but until that day, I have to run into the house to get water. Let's see. Todd says this is closer to 1/900 scale. I'm wondering what you're referring to. Hagen says, what is? Oh, and Todd says, I have no idea. I stepped out. So Hagen is referring to when Hagen says 19290 scale, he's referring to space stock, to Earth space stock. He's got a model printed out of that and has or is getting it or has it, or I'm not sure. Just had, let's see what he says. Just had a space dock model printed by the same shop that prints the Helios models, 24 inches tall. It'll probably be the same kind of long-term project. So I'm not sure, Hagen, if that means that you have it now or if it's in process of getting to you. I know I saw pieces. Your picture of the teaser with pieces. I'm assuming that means that you actually have it in your possession now. So, but you can let us know whether that means that it's in your possession or you're still working on getting it. Yeah, I wonder how much those industrial printers cost. Now, in my mind, and this is just my mind, which means nothing, I would think I'm going to need a little bit more light in the shop. Let me just turn on an additional light. Hopefully this doesn't blast things out too much. In my mind, I think it would be better on some of these large kits to potentially make the masters, like have the masters 3D printed and then make molds and produce the kits with the molds. But I am not the ones producing the kits. I would just be a wee bit concerned potentially about the long-term longevity, which is why I went through all that effort to make sure that this thing is as solid can be with the armature. So, but to make some of the larger pieces, doing a fiberglass cast, I could see some benefit in that, and just having the masters 3D printed. But I am not an expert in kit production, so you can take my thoughts there with a grain of salt, because I don't really know. I don't really know what I'm talking about in that way. So I'm going to swap in a chisel blade on one of my X-Acto handles. Let's see. Todd says, imagine how big the space dock would be with the 1350 refit inside. Yeah, maybe you could fit that in the West Edmonton Mall, but I don't really know anywhere else where you could put that thing. Hagen says, yeah, I have it. Awesome. And the print bed is something like 6 feet wide. It would have to be. It would absolutely have to be. All right. I have to clean some of the gunk out of the sensor band. And I need to scrape a little bit to get the sensor band straightened. Actually, I'm just going to cut in with the chisel blade here a little bit, straight across. That's working well. I just want this sensor band to be as linear as possible. It's not linear. No, it's not. Emissary? Anyone? Anyone? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you're thinking as I'm rambling on here. So Cisco and emissary is just what went through my head. We're getting there on this. Somebody's left a comment. I'll have to check that here in a moment. So, the wedding last weekend was good. Went well. I made no major mess ups during the ceremony, which is always a good thing. A couple times I lost my spot, but that was due to the fact that I had the sun blasting my eyes. The way that the whole thing was positioned at the venue. So I had the sun shining directly at me. So just made it a little difficult to see my my papers. And so the odd time I just kind of lost where I was. But the nice thing is I know how to talk. And so I just kept talking with approximately the right kind of words as filler for the few moments it took me just to find my spot and continue. So not a big deal there. But it was pretty warm. I hate doing outside weddings because I hate the heat. And it's guaranteed to be hot during the ceremony. In fact, there was some nice cloud cover blocking the sun right up until the point where the music started and the bridesmaids started coming down the aisle. And then the sun just started to blast. And then, of course, I'm in a full suit, meaning it gets hot, I get hot. To the point where I could not take my suit off for the reception because, I'd sweated through my shirt, even though I was wearing another shirt underneath. Let's see. Jody's here. Hi, Andrew. Welcome back. I don't have sound on because I'm out right now. Just want to say hi. Well, hi, J-O-D-Y. Hi, Jody. I don't know sign language, so I can't sign hi to you. But hi. Let's see. Dash is here. How are you doing, Howard? Welcome to the live stream. He says, come to my wedding. Well, I am not allowed to do weddings outside of Ontario, although I know in Canada, I can get a special temporary license in different provinces. I don't know if that applies to across the country border or not. But I can certainly do weddings in Ontario, and I can apply for a special temporary license to be able to do weddings in other provinces on a case-by-case basis. But it'd be actually interesting to find out what the logistics of getting, if it's the same way where you can get like a temporary if you're authorized to perform weddings in a different in a different country, if you can get a temporary license for the States. I think it would be a little more difficult because it's a different country, and all the different laws and paperwork and all that kind of stuff are likely different. I know there's ways of doing the wedding that are different in the States versus Canada. In Canada, we sign the paperwork during the ceremony, so we call it signing the register. So after you may now kiss the bride kind of a deal, they do the kiss, and then the couple moves over to a little table on the side generally, and the bride sits down, they sign the paperwork, they do their signing, then they get up, the maid of honor and best man come sit down, they do their signing, they get up, and then I do my signing. And then I get to go, for the very first time, I present to you, Mr. and Mrs. blah, 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 right? And then they go back down the aisle. So I know in the States, you guys don't do that. You don't, like, I think you guys like sign the paperwork before or after or something like that. So, I mean, it'd be interesting to kind of see what the particulars of that would be. People saying hi to each other. Jody says, "Hi, Howard, seriously?" And Dash says, "So is it annulled if they cross the border?" No, you can get married wherever you want to get married. You can get married in different jurisdictions. So somebody from the States could get married in Canada. Their marriage would be registered in whichever province that they got married in, and the U.S. would recognize that registered marriage as a legal marriage. Where it becomes tricky is you have to be authorized to solemnize a marriage in a particular jurisdiction. So I am authorized to perform weddings in the province of Ontario. If I go outside of Ontario to a different province, I have to apply to that province's Office of the Registrar General to get a temporary one-time use license, which is then based on my license in Ontario. So like I'm saying, I don't know what the legalities of a Canadian officiant being authorized to officiate a wedding in the United States. So not sure, not sure what the legalities and process of that would be. I know for destination weddings, you generally have to get an officiant at the destination. So if a couple from Ontario wants to get married in Jamaica, let's say, destination wedding, they would have to have an officiant in Jamaica who would do that. The other option, though, is they get married before they go. So they get legally married before they go to their destination wedding, and then their destination wedding is just a ceremony. It's just kind of like the ceremony part, the legal part is done beforehand, which makes it interesting. Would your anniversary be the legal date or the ceremony date? I've always kind of wondered that. But up to now, I have never done a wedding at the airport before they would go to a destination. I've never done that. So I'm sure there's likely a first time for that at some point down the road. Tea, Earl Grey, hot. All right. So I took my gloves off so I could re-pour tea and check on all of the chat. So I'm going to throw these back on, and do a little bit more work. This work is absolutely tedious and time-consuming. Oh, by the way, Jody. Oh, Jody cannot hear me. So I'm going to just type in the chat to Jody. So I'm going to type Jody, our gloves. I've got gloves on and typing. Jody, are you streaming tonight once I am done? Question mark. There we go. Hopefully he'll see that. He'll let us know, because I can set it up to send you guys all over there automatically. And if he's streaming, we'll send everybody over there once we are done here tonight. All right. Let's see. The wedding was also it was a family wedding, and it was also a kids included wedding, which means our kids, our nephews were there. My kids had a blast playing with their cousins, and they were dancing a little bit and playing together and running outside onto the balcony, back inside, back out onto the balcony, back inside. So they had fun. We ended up doing 2 vehicles so that we could have the flexibility of one of us leaving and taking kids if they got too tired. The things you have to think of when you've got little ones. This is starting to look better. I'll just do a little bit more refinement on the leading edge here. And then I think we'll be able to get this seam cleaned up and finalized. Which this bit added in here has taken a fair bit of time to get right, because you're adding material that's missing on the kit, and just want to make sure that it is blended in as well as possible, so that when you look at the final kit, that's so much smoother. Okay, much better than what it was earlier today. You want to make sure that it is as blended as possible, so you don't see it in the paint. Problem with some of the putty work is if it's not blended well, and if you don't take the time, don't put in the time to do that, it won't look great once it's all said and done. So we'll clean up the surface here, and I'll give you guys a look. I'm gonna have to get into the sensor band and get the sensor band cleaned out here as well. I'll just get as much as I can with the paper towel right now. There we go. I'll grab the other camera and give you guys a bit more of a close-up look at how that's looking. But I'll take the gloves off so I can actually deal with the touch screen. Oh, we've got some chat. Let me look at the chat while I'm taking my gloves off. Let's see. Dash says, "What's your actual religion of Christianity? Because I know you're married, so not Catholic." Yeah, definitely not Catholic. I am part of the Pentecostal Assemblies of Canada here in Canada, obviously because it's of Canada, which would be similar to the Assemblies of God in the United States. I think that would probably be the closest approximation. Let's see. Oh, we got an answer from Jody. Jody says, "Not sure, Andrew. We're not at home right now." All right. Well, just let me know. Oh, actually, I forgot. Let me type my answer to Jody. All right, Jody, just let me know if you are going to be streaming when I am done, and I will send everyone on over to you. There we go. Let's see. Trent's here. Welcome, Trent. Welcome to the live stream. Dash says, "Are you at work, Jody?" And Jody says, "We're at a neighbor's having a drink. It's our anniversary." It's your anniversary? My anniversary is tomorrow. Wait, he can't hear me. It's your anniversary, Jody. It's our anniversary tomorrow. Happy, well, that was spelled horribly. Happy anniversary. I would love to get a better keyboard. My keyboard stinks. It's one of the like flat keyboards, and I mean it's fine most of the time, but I kind of like a bit more of a keyboard that gives you a bit more response. Let's see. Alan says, "Hi, Steven." Howard says, "By the way, I don't know if you had I got my NX01 finally, but ended up it got here the second time after the tariffs were on, so I had to pay $97. Yeah, the tariffs. I'm sorry for you guys having to pay so much extra on the tariffs. It's kind of crazy. But I mean, we end up having to pay duty on that stuff too. So, did it get to you in one piece? Did it get to you in one piece? Was everything intact? I know that they've had some problems with the way that they've packed the models, and some of them have just simply not been getting to their destination in one piece. I had that with the Enterprise B, and Ken has had that with his Excelsior. I know that they are putting the Enterprise C in the same kind of packaging they did the D because of those issues. So let me know if it caught to you intact. And Dash says, "Oh, happy anniversary." And Jody says, "Thanks, buddy." David James is here, says, "Wow, do my eyes see me? Is this another Canadian Starship stream?" Yeah, I know. We've been 3 weeks with no Canadian Starship streams. The first Saturday night I was not streaming was a last minute thing. My kids were all sick. The second one that I missed was because allergies hit me like a freight train that Saturday, and I was a mess. And then last week was a family wedding that I officiated. So yeah, and Jody says he's back. And then there's my comments to Jody. And then Jody says, "Thanks, Andrew, but don't worry about it. I may not be home by then. At least we're still in the building." Oh, that's cool. All right. Let's see. Howard says, "Wow, happy anniversary to you too, Andrew. How many years?" This would be our... let me do the math here. This would be our 12th anniversary. We were married in 2013, October of 2013. Yes, I married later in life and got into the whole kids thing later in life. Let me tell you, having a kid at 36 is a lot easier than having a kid at 40. So anybody who is not north of 40 yet, have your kids early, because the late nights. So my daughter, I was 36 when my daughter was born, and 40 when my son was born. And doing the late nights at 40 were a whole, or the no sleep at 40 was a whole lot harder than it was doing that 36. Let's see. Jody says, "I don't have to get a ride." That would be very true. Trent says, "Happy anniversary." We have Wilhelm Santos. I apologize if I did not get the pronunciation of that right. Says, "Hello, Stephen from Rio de Janeiro." And well, hello and welcome to the live stream. Jody says, "Awesome, Andrew. Happy anniversary to you and your wife." Well, thank you. Stephen Martin says, "Evening, gents," from SE, Michigan. Welcome, Stephen. Welcome to the live stream. Howard says, "I do not know. I haven't had time to look yet, but he had said he took it out and checked it all again and shipped it the second time." Okay, so Daniel must have had it shipped to him, and then it examined it and made sure it was packed well, and then it sent it along to you. That's probably a smart idea, because they've had problems with things being shipped from the factory, being drop shipped directly from the factory. So just people saying hi to everybody. Howard says, "Well, I'm 53. I'll probably be 54 and have kids." So laugh out loud. Oh, I do not envy starting into the kid thing at 54. That the doing all-nighters in my 30s and in my 20s, nowhere near as bad as doing the all-nighters in the 40s, let me tell you. So let's see here. We've got Bilbo 3663 says, "Great gravy. That's fantastic and massive." That's what she said. Happy anniversary too. Welcome to the live stream. Hope you're having a good evening. And Gil Yermay is probably more accurate. Hello at Gil Yermay Santos. All right. Thank you, Todd. Dash says, "No, it was shipped here first, but the shipping label was not right, so it went to them, so it's crossed the pond." Oh, wow. Okay, I understand. But at least it means that they've checked it, and it was good once it left Germany. So that's a good sign that things will hopefully get to you intact. All right, well, I'm caught up here. So let's see. I'll grab the other camera and give you a look at how that's looking. This is one of the difficult spots on the project. So let's refresh the camera. No, I don't want to do that. Share my camera. Pull it up here. Fade in. Oh, I'm going to play around. Oh, Howard's comment still on the screen. Don't worry, just a service I provide. There we go. I can't preview this on my screen right now. It's frozen on my camera screen, on my phone screen. But hopefully you can see that it's looking decently straight. There's a little bit of refinement in there to do still. I can probably make it a little bit straighter, putting the file in there. But for now, that's looking good. It's looking nice. And again, I can't preview this. I'm kind of looking back to do this. It feels nice and smooth here at the transition. It's lined up well and swoops back nicely. I've got all this seam work in here to deal with. Still, but this piece here is always a challenge on this to get it molded in and just look like it's a natural part of the ship hull here. So really happy with how this turned out. I had to do the exact same thing on the other one. One of the reasons why this is just time consuming to get it right, because there's just all this detail work that just has to be done. All right, let's switch back cameras here. There we go. And Howard says, I scared Todd last night. I turned on a camera for the first time in stream. I see. I did not make the live stream last night. We were quite busy, so and exhausted. Tired, exhausted, busy, crazy. It's been nuts around here. So did not make that. And will not make the HTM live stream tomorrow. It's our, yes, tomorrow. Will not make the HTM live stream tomorrow because it is our anniversary. And unfortunately, I've got a little bit of a work thing that has to happen in the afternoon. So certainly will not be using my time in the evening to be on the HTM live stream. But I'll probably get back on hopefully the next Friday. And hopefully by then we'll be much further along on the Enterprise D here. I really need to get this done so I can get the paint work done and get a video out really detailing the paint scheme on this, because the masking set for motion picture miniatures really deserves to have an in-depth, step-by-step process of how to use the decals. Not decal set, the masking set on the project, so that other people can walk through it. There's a few things I learned on the first time through that I can demonstrate, just fit and kind of adapting some fit stuff to the particular model and where you have to kind of place things, all that kind of fun stuff. And so I will go through step by step, detailed on this one, so that anybody else doing this will know how to do it. All right. Have I mentioned that I will have a third Enterprise D third kit coming, the version 2, with all the various updates and stuff that they're doing, the metal armature and everything. I will have one of those kits in the shop. Who knows if whenever I'll get to building it, but I will have one in the shop. I'm really interested to see the differences between the two versions of the kit, especially how the armature works out, because having that armature would have saved me a ton of time on this one and that one. This one and that one. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next area that needs attention. And I'm not quite sure what the next area that needs attention is yet. It's probably going to be the neck. So we need to fill in the neck and keep the neckline going. Let's see if I can get a bit of a better view of the neck here. I'm going to move the ship a little bit closer. I'm going to move the camera up a little bit. So please stand by on this nausea ride. As I find my chair. Now let's adjust the camera and let's zoom it into the neck a little bit. Okay, I can pan that up a wee bit. There we go. And the nice thing about the setup is as I move the desk around, the camera, it does seem to be moving a little bit. Let me just lock it down here. Although it might just be locking onto something else. I think that's just digital movement. Interesting. I haven't had that happen before. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to fill the gap here. We're going to keep the neckline of the Cobra head as our join, and we're going to mold the saucer in just up to that. And I think the area here that's been previously worked on is quite good. Hopefully I don't have to patch that with vinyl once it's all said and done. If we need to, we will. And Wayne gave me a great piece of advice on that, to keep the vinyl piece aligned with the specific piece of Aztec paneling, so that the edges blend in a little bit better, because it's the line between the two different colors. Let's see. Dave James says, I actually just heard back from Helios, and they're expecting the V2 prototype in a matter of weeks, along with a 1,000 scale version. After making sure everything fits, he'll start production. Very good, very good. I mean, I am in no rush for it, because I have so many other things I have to do before I even think about getting a another Enterprise D started at that scale. There is a little piece of epoxy that is stuck on the top there, so I'm going to grab my my chisel tool. I'm just going to chisel that off. I should just be able to pop it off. Yep. And there's some along the edge of the neck here, so I'm just going to go along before we get any putty in there and clean off any of that stray epoxy. Nice thing about the epoxy is it will just kind of scrape off once it's fully dried. So if you get some epoxy leakage when you're doing a seam like this, just leave it, let it fully cure, and then you can just pop it off with something like this chisel blade. There we go. Nicely cleaned. Can't talk tonight. Nicely cleaned up. All right. Now the question is, what do I want to use? What do I want to use to clean up this seam? So I'm just delineating this separation seam on the corner here a little bit where the putty work's been done. And it looks like I might need to pull out some of that resin that I cleaned up. Got stuck in the seam. We don't want it embedded in with the putty. So I think what I'm going to do is fill this with some slightly watered down perfect plastic putty, not too watered down, but just enough that it fills the gap and kind of levels itself out. And I'm also going to see what I can do. How do I want to do that? I'm going to do a little bit at a time, just so that I can kind of maintain that separation plane there. So let's get a small cup. Got some on my desk. Let's find the perfect plastic putty. That's going to be the big thing. I've been so busy that I don't remember where I've left everything since the last time I used it. And it's right on my work desk, right on the table that the Enterprise D is sitting on. So we've got that there. Let's see. Dennis is here. Welcome, Dennis. Is not sure if this has been asked in the past, but how heavy will the model be once completed? It will be heavy. I don't have a final tally on the weight on it yet, but it will be heavy because there is a significant metal armature in there. So I do not have a guesstimation on that yet because I haven't weighed it. Part of me is a little bit scared too. Scared to see just how much this thing's going to weigh, because one of them has to go across the ocean to Belgium when it's done. So that's going to be a fun trip for the model. So I've just put some perfect plastic putty in a cup. I'm just going to mix it in with some water to make it into a bit more of a slurry. And then we're going to apply that to the seam. I want it to be a wee bit liquidy so that it will find its level and work its way into the seam. And I do apologize, you can't see what I'm doing here on camera. I'm just mixing it in the little cup. And then I'm going to apply it to the model. I'm going to do this a wee bit differently, but I will show you what I'm doing. So I've actually put the perfect plastic putty into a plastic pipette. I'm going to lay it down into the seam. Trying to be mindful of the camera when doing this. I'm just going to go over to the other side here. I'm going to need to get a toothpick so I can pop those bubbles. There's some bubbles in it. Oh, I left Dennis's chat up. Again, just a service I provide. Don't worry about it. It's free of charge. go. So I'm just laying it down. Because it's quite liquidy, it's just laying down nicely into the seam. I've got a fair bit of control of it. The only issue I'm having is the bubbles. Surface tension is sufficient. And the bubbles are just making it hard to pop the bubbles. I could also use use one of my little containers that I use for the solar res that has like the needle nose applier, but I'd still have to pipette it into that container. So I might as well just use the pipette. Just getting a little bit more into the pipette. Probably gonna have to mix up some more. And this is just the first round putty application on this seam. More will be needed. And I've left my toothpick somewhere. Actually, since I came back for my toothpick, I'm going to mix up some more perfect plastic putty. Alan Lofton is here and says, where did you get your Voyager jacket? If you're referring to the jacket I wear in my videos, Amazon. Which was the most common question asked when I appeared on the Tested channel. Most common question was, where did I get my jacket, and where can I and can I get the link for it? I'm just mixing up a little bit more of the perfect plastic putty. You can't find a link for it. Give me one moment, and I will see if I can find the link. Actually, I'm going to find it fastest probably through my email, because I had people emailing me, asking me about that. So let me just pop into my email. Please hold. Takes a moment to get there. There's a lot of clicks. And I've got a couple emails for... okay. Let's see if YouTube will let me post this here. Will it let me? There's a link. So if that came up on YouTube, you can follow that link. Let's see if it came up in YouTube, because I can't see. Yeah, looks like the link came up, and the link looks good. Now they don't have they don't show the black body with the red shoulders on the website. They show the red body with the black shoulders, but they don't show the other one. You would probably have to contact them for the black body red shoulders. I'm not sure why it's not listed there. I actually got that one by mistake when I ordered the other ones. So, but I was actually happier with that one. All right, here we are. We're back. It did show up. Perfect. All right. There we go. So that it would be the link to the jacket. I'm just filling up the pipette. Trying not to get air into it. Okay. Am I on the right screen? Yes, I'm on the right screen. Okay. And air right off the bat. And of course, I left the toothpick over here. Let's grab that. And I'm leaving chat on the screen. So let's, how far up is that? There we go. All right. I could have stood to make this last batch a little bit more liquidy. I'm going to have to liquefy it a little bit more to do the edges, but I'm going to do those with, by edges, I mean these areas here. Same on the other side. I'm going to have to do that with a toothpick, I think, because the pipette's just going to be a little bit too brute force to do that little bit. I'm going to make this a little bit more watery and mix it up. I love that you can play around with the thickness and consistency of the perfect plastic putty, because it'll dry nice and solid. I'm just going to wipe some of that away. I'd rather put too little in and come back and clean it up after with a bit more and have too much. Okay. They're just going to come through and do the more narrow little bits with the toothpick. And then gravity is going to do its work. It's going to get pulled in, especially the more liquid putty here. It's going to get drawn in. Whatever the scientific term for that is, I always forget. I'm also going to push it down and remove the airlock. Because you put it on top, it locks the air underneath in, so you have to break that airlock. There we go. this side. Break the airlock. I took a little bit too much away in this section, so I'll top it up here. Some of the more liquidy stuff. All right. First round seam work in that area. Let's see. Blair's here. Blair says evening all. Figured Blair was there because my watch was going off with some messages. I'll check those in a moment. Andrew's back. Yeah. It's been a busy, crazy month. And then everybody's saying hi to Blair. All right. Let me just check here. Oh, Blair's got some pictures. Blair's been busy. Do you want me to show these pictures off, Blair? I can show them off if you want me to. There we go. If Blair says yes, I will show them off here. I've just got them prepped and ready to go. Boop, 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 boop. Do 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 do. That's just my sound alike. I don't want to get a copyright strike by using the particular game show music while we wait here. Just waiting to find out if Blair's okay with me showing the pictures of what he's been working on. Do 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 do. Hello? Hello? Hello, computer. A keyboard. How quaint. Well, while I'm waiting for Blair's yay or nay on showing what he's been up to, I will grab myself a refill on the tea, Earl Grey hot. And Blair says, give her. Okay. So Blair's been getting back into the hobby himself. And so this is his Voyager. Oh, let me turn my face off here. His Voyager. And he's working on the Grissom and Bird of Prey. And there's the other Voyager pick. There we go. There we are. So that's what he's been working on. Nice. Here we go. I just went back because I wasn't sure if I got the right pictures, but that looks like all of them. I think, or I might have gone, I think I went the wrong direction. Let's try this again. Here we go. So here's the first one. I think I have to go this way on the picture. So there's the Klingon ship, Bird of Prey, top and bottom, and another look at Voyager. There we go. And I can't remember what you did with your windows. Did you mask your windows? Did you cut them out? I can't remember whether you were using the translucent kit or the opaque kit. Opaque kit. But yeah, let's see. Was that your Voyager? That's Blair's Voyager. Yeah. Blair says yes, yes, yes. Jody says that looks fantastic. Looking good. And yeah, I like the picture. I like this picture better than the other one because you get a little bit of the natural, like the room light on it. And so it always looks better when you're taking a picture of it with some room light on. I know so often people want to take a picture of it in the dark to show off the lights, but that's not how we see it on camera. So I like this view better because it's got the you see the hull, right? So all right, here we are. So we will have to let this set up, but I'm seeing where it's being. Where did I put the putty? Where is the putty? Here's the putty. I found the putty. The really liquid stuff is being drawn in, so I'm going to go back over some of these areas and add a little bit more. With it being so liquidy, whatever the technical term for that is, it just draws it into the whole seam, which is a better fill. So it's better for the seam if it can be drawn in all the way. So often putty just only sits in as far as you were able to force it into your seam. So it's one reason why I like the Perfect Plastic Putty, because you still have a ton of putty in there. It's just thinned down, and the moisture will evaporate out, and you'll have the exact same filler as you would if you didn't thin it down. And then it just makes it easier to work with and easier to get into the entire seam. There we go. I'm just looking for some spots where I can kind of top it up. This seam will certainly need a lot of work, but this is just the first step. First step in a bit of a process. There we are. Now, while I have this out, and I've got a ton of the putty here, and it's going to be workable for quite some time because I really thinned it down, I'm going to do some. Let me move the camera a bit. I'm going to do some work on the back end here and start to. I'm going to need to take my glasses off for this and start to build this seam so that it doesn't look like a seam anymore. There's a significant step here. And so what we're doing is we're just putting in the first foundational layers that will allow us to blend these two pieces together. And it looks like I'm going to have to do some work here where the wire channel is. It's going to need some more fill, some more sand, some more work. So my goal this week is, and this is kind of like, this is the kind of work where you really just need to do an hour or so and then step away, let it all cure up and dry. So I'm going to just be doing some short stints this week. A little bit here, a little bit there. And try to get this thing caught up so that we can get the paint on it. I just really don't want to rush the work and it not be as good as it can be. Just going to take a moment to check the comments. He says, I ground out. Your lighting was brutal. Oh, you ground out your windows. Got it. Yeah, okay. I understand. Back in 20, hot tub. Steve Martin says, awesome builds, Blair. Blair says, thanks, fellas. Dash says, Andrew, wait till you see Jody's deflector dish he made for the Toss D. Yeah, I'll have to see that. I have not. Things have been so crazy. There could be brand new admins on the HTM, and I would not know about it because I have not been able to keep up to date on everything. I have no idea. Like, we could have like 5 new admin members as far as I know. I have no idea. Or half the team could have moved on or whatever. I have absolutely no idea. I have not been able to keep up on anything. I am way behind on YouTube videos of builders. I am way behind on everything just because it's been so crazy. Or Galaxy, yeah, Toss D Galaxy. 236 days now. Yeah. Jody says, I think I will be home soon. I will go on for a couple hours. All right. Sounds like we're going to have a Jody stream after this stream is done. So I'm going to take a quick moment here and see if he's got the live stream scheduled yet or scheduled yet. Take your pick on that pronunciation or pronunciation. Truck Mods live 6 days ago. Okay, so it's not there yet, so I can't set up anything until he is scheduled. But I will set it up so that it goes directly to Jody's live stream. So let's see. Let's see. Let me know when you have your stream scheduled, and I'll set up the redirect. Make everything easy for everybody. Dash says, no, we only beat a red-headed alien. Okay, I'm not understanding the context. And Jody still has his volume off. That's why I've left you a comment in the chat. And he says, one of us has not hit the like button. Well, you can hit the like button if you want to. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's all up to you. I'm not too worried about all that stuff. YouTube will do its thing, and growth will come organically, or when I shamelessly promote myself at Wonderfest. Either or. And I think I just slopped my tea. Earl Grey. Hot. Although not quite as hot as it was at the beginning of this live stream. Oh well. His name is Alec. Got it. All right. Okay. Back to the back end. The back end here is going to take many rounds of putty sand, putty sand, putty sand. It's one of the troublesome areas. but using the thinly mixed perfect plastic putty is going to let it get right into the seam there. It'll create a good seal lock. It'll create a good light block, which is always good. I'm just going to move the desk a little bit. If I do this, I can see if somebody's commented. Maybe I'll bring my mouse around so I can actually click on the comments. I used to have a carpet down on the floor here to help with the noise of the chair rolling around, but it was interfering with rolling this table around. But I sure can move around. All right. Let's see. Jody says, one of us has not hit the light. Oh, he already said that. I didn't start it. And and the other comment that's there is the one from Dash that I already read out. So I am all caught up and up to date on the chat. It's just hard to see from here. Oh, and blame me, I was the holdout. Oh, probably for the like button. Got it. I understand. I get it now. Took me a moment, but I got it. Got there in the end. All right. Here we go. And I've left Howard's comment up on the screen. Again, a service I provide, obviously blocking view of whatever I'm having to be working on. It's just the way it works out. So this seam is going to have to be built up through multiple rounds of putty work. This is just the first. I need my chisel blade, which is over on the other desk. There's a bit of the JB Quick Quill that just needs to be taken away before I putty that. Got it. Getting there. It's interesting, all the seams and gaps and stuff like that, although it's the same kit between the two, they're each just a little bit different, which is the nature of any garage kit, really. And it's something you kind of just have to be aware of going in and be ready to work with and deal with. All right, I'm going to flip this around, and although I might be able to put a little bit more in the next seam now. Probably gonna have to sand just a couple high spots on the saucer here down a little bit. But we'll see once the putty sets up. I'm just putting some on the seam and the saucer, which will help me blend the seam into the saucer. We still want a separation plane, somewhat visible, but we don't want anybody to know that there used to be a gap there. So we want the gap to essentially become part of the back of the saucer here. And there are a couple of high points that just might need to be taken down on the saucer part itself, just some edges, just a little bit near the sides, near the edges of the cobra neck here. Especially on this side right here. That's a little bit high. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing. Nobody told me. Nobody told me you can't see what I'm working on. There we go. So I'm doing this. I'm starting to work the putty up onto the saucer because there is a significant gap. So we want the part we're filling in on the gap to look as though it is part of the saucer portion. Since the separation seam, we've chosen to go with the line of the neck as a separation plane. So I'm coming along and I'm just overlapping putty on the seam and the back end of the saucer here. And that'll just allow me to make it look like there never was a gap, like a multi-millimeter gap, and it'll look like the back end of the saucer goes back as far as it is supposed to, or at least that's the goal. How successful we are is all yet to be determined. All right, I'm going to flip the desk around. I'm going to do a little bit more, add a bit more material onto the back end here on the side that I did first. because it'll be set up a little bit more. So let's find the mouse to start with. Here we go. Here's the mouse, and we are going to just bring the camera back down for the back end here. Let's see. Tis done. Discord will have a video soon. Sorry, what tis done? I'm not making the connection. What is done? And what are we going to see pictures of? I mean, I guess I could just be patient and wait and see when you post. But where's the fun in waiting? I want to know now. So I'm just coming through the initial round of perfect plastic putty. We'll have set up a little bit. It will have contracted a little bit. Just trying to pop some of these air bubbles. I'm just adding more because we have to blend the higher area into the lower area and make it look like it's supposed to be this way. And the perfect plastic putty is just about at the perfect consistency right now for this work. Just wish air bubbles wouldn't get in when I'm mixing it. Problem with air bubbles is if they actually end up on the surface where you sand into them, then you get this little tiny divot that they have to deal with. It's much easier if the bubbles are not there to begin with. So I'm just kind of sculpting in the transition with the nearly liquid perfect plastic putty. Oh, funny thing. If you're, no, this isn't the funny thing. If you are sending anything to a Canadian right now, do not use the standard postal service because Canada Post is once again on strike. Now, this presented a bit of a problem for me because as the wedding officiant, it is my legal responsibility to submit the signed paperwork, i.e. the marriage license, in a timely manner following the ceremony, which typically is not a big deal because I just verify that all of the paperwork has been done properly. I make photocopies of it for my records and for insurance purposes, as far as in case the documentation gets lost in the mail or there's a disagreement between what the documentation says and what the Register General's office has done. I can always go back to the photocopy and see. And then I put it in the provided envelope, put 2 stamps on it, and send it into the Register General's office in Thunder Bay, Ontario. However, the our postal service went on strike after Friday, so I was not able to send the marriage license in via Canada Post as I normally would. So I wasn't sure what alternate options are acceptable, because you have to do everything exactly the way that the government office wants you to do it in order for everything to be registered properly. And so you don't want to mess around with that stuff. So 2 stamps. I don't know how much her stamps are right now. And I'm leaving things on the screen. Again, it's a service I provide, everybody. It's free of charge. It's a service I provide. Let me remove it off the screen so that you can see what I'm working on. But yeah, so 2 stamps. I have no idea how much our stamps are right now, but 2 stamps, that's a few dollars, right? A few dollars to send the marriage license in. I had to courier it. I had no other options. I had to courier it. And it's just a piece, literally a piece of paper inside a 12x6 envelope. One quote I got was the first quote I got was $55. The second quote I got from FedEx directly was $45. I ended up sending it through UPS for about $35. So yeah, if you're sending anything in to a Canadian right now, do not send it through the regular mail service, because it looks like this strike could go on for quite a long time potentially. So if you're sending anything to Jody or anyone else up here, to Ken or whoever, you'll have to use a courier, FedEx, UPS, something like that. Otherwise, it'll likely get lost in a Canada Post office at the border, and who knows what will ever happen with it. I'm going to need to mix up a wee bit more. Oh, I already showed that one, or I already talked about that one. Is there something there? I did see something pop up. What? I have no idea what section he would have posted something to. I don't know what it is he's talking about. So Howard, you're gonna have to tell me where you posted, because I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be looking to find out what it is that you've posted. All right. So I'm going to mix up a wee bit more perfect plastic slurry, and that'll pretty much take us to the end of the stream here. Before I mix that up, let's see if there's a live stream I can link to yet. Nope, nothing I can link to yet for Jody's stream. So I'm just keeping an eye out to see if there's anything I can link to, but nothing as of yet. Oh, there's a video of something here. Oh, is it the shuttle? Is it the wood shuttle, the wood kit of the shuttle with the boosters and everything on the launch pad? Looks cool. I'll have to watch the video after stream, but looks really cool. We got an update from Jody. He says, I'm afraid I won't be streaming tonight. I'm home now, but I don't have the energy for building. I'm just going to hang out with my wife. That is fair. Have a good night. I'm assuming if you're home, that means that you're listening and I don't have to type it out. So that is fair. Enjoy your evening. And yeah. We should never feel pressured to be streaming. Because streaming is something that we should enjoy doing, and we should never feel pressured to stream. I know that people get disappointed when their normal streams aren't available, but I think it's A-okay. Says the guy who hasn't streamed in 3 weeks. And here I am again, leaving the chat up on the screen, blocking what I'm doing. It's in Lumberyard, yeah, so it's the shuttle. Obviously, it's the shuttle thing that I see there. So I will look at the video after stream tonight. Looks very cool, though. From the still image that I currently have up on screen. So many of you have gotten into building with wood. I mean, it's interesting what they've got available as kits to build with wood. I don't know if I just wasn't aware of it previously, and I'm just only now noticing that kind of stuff because so many of the guys in the HTM group are interested in it and are sharing it. But I'm seeing a lot more wood kits for things these days. But like I said, that could simply be a metric of me noticing. Here we go. Let me look at the other side. Of course, I have to roll the desk and it gets all jittery on camera. Yeah, I can probably use up some of this here. So I don't waste the putty. The corner here is definitely going to need a little more real estate to kind of blend in. So we'll lay a little bit more. And you just use up what's in the cup. And all of this will set overnight. And then maybe if there's a little bit of time after everybody else has gone to bed late tomorrow night, I can work on sanding it down a little bit so I can get the next batch of putty on Monday. Now, because this work is going to be a lot of do it and leave it kind of work, I might move ahead on some more work on the other Enterprise D. It would be nice to get that one moving along a little bit. All right. Here we go. So we got this area taken care of. We got putty into the neck, and we've gotten this seam down here on its way. It looks really messy right now. It's in the messy stage at the moment, and that's to be expected. It'll look a lot nicer once we get through all of this ugly phase work. Yeah, there it is. That's what it looks like, and that's basically where we're going to have to leave it tonight. Let me get caught up on the chat here as I pour myself a little bit more tea. Earl Grey, hot. Let's see. Jody says, I'm afraid. Oh, I already read that. There says, glad I'm back at modeling. Been therapeutic during tough times last few months. Yeah, you know what? I find it so relaxing opening the windows on the 1400 scale kits. Opening the windows on like the Enterprise E and the Enterprise D, I find that so relaxing. Other people find it infuriating. I actually really find it relaxing. What seam filler is that? That is the perfect plastic putty. It is available at Great Hobbies here in Canada. I'm sure it's available at other places as well. It's great because it's water-based. You can really thin it down, and you can get it to the exact consistency that you want it for various different seams. So areas like the side here where I had to build it out and I needed it to be solid material, I used the epoxy sculpt. It's a 2-part epoxy filler sculpting material, because that's basically building up additional hull sections. And for filling large gaps, I'll use that as well. But I really like using the perfect plastic putty on regular seam work, just because I can really nail down the perfect plastic putty to the exact consistency I want it to do the particular seam work I need it to do. So when I need it to settle into a seam, like on the neck and on the here, let me zoom back out here a little bit and pivot the camera up and grab a pointing device. So the seam on the back end here has a step down from the secondary hull part to the pylon part. So I have to bridge that gap. It's not like a gap like here where there's like a hole between, like a gouge or a canyon essentially between the two parts. This is where one piece sits up higher than the other, so I have to smooth it out. But in both of these cases, I wanted the putty to get all the way down into the seam. It helps to create a much better bond additionally between the parts. It anchors the putty in better, so it's not just sitting on the surface and then becomes loosened when you're sanding. So it gives a much better bond for the putty inside. So when it's very thin, it will work its way all the way in to the crevices. But as the liquid inside evaporates and the remaining material coalesces and hardens, it becomes just as solid as if you use the putty without watering it down. It just changes the way you can apply the putty. So I really like the perfect plastic putty for those kinds of things. So the right putty for the right job, essentially, right? So, all right, there we go. I need to close, just minimize Discord so I can see what it is I'm doing here. All right. Jody says, I need some of that epoxy sculpt to make the bottom of the saucer for the TOS Galaxy. Yeah, Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. It's not. Oh, let me see. Let me see what the cost of it currently is. Aves. Let me see if I can get you a link. All right. I mean, it's not the cheapest thing in the world. But you get a decent amount, and it will last you for a good chunk of time. But I would advise putting it in sealable Ziploc bags. Currently, what I get is $56.15 Canadian. I will put the link for that in the chat. Okay. The link is a little bit long. So I don't think that works. Oh, no. If you click on the first one, it'll take you there. I'm just removing the extraneous post there. I don't know why it posted like that, but that will take you to the listing. So that's for the Aves epoxy sculpt. That is, oh, let me switch over here. Once I get Stream Deck set up, it's going to do all this camera stuff automatically for me when I press different buttons, because I can do Stream Deck on my iPad, which is going to be helpful, I think, for live streams. So the epoxy sculpt, the Aves epoxy sculpt, it is a 2-part epoxy sculpt. You take two equal parts, mix it together, and it hardens very hard, but it is sandable, and it's water sandable. And it'll actually be a little easier and quicker to sand if you're using wet sandpaper. So that's the epoxy sculpt. That's for building up sections of a model, and you want it to look like it's the hull when you're done. That's what I'm using there. And then we've got the Deluxe brand Perfect Plastic Putty. And that's the stuff that I'm using to do the seam work. So for additive materials, I'm using the Aves epoxy sculpt for the seam work, where I can mix it down to a thin putty, so that it'll be drawn into the gaps. I'm using the Deluxe brand Perfect Plastic Putty. What's this? Don't you have to add a couple? I'm not sure what you mean. Do you have to add other parts still on the pylon area at the back where the nacelles are? I have a little bit the filler work on the wire trench is showing a little bit, so I've got a little bit more refining work to do in there. But the area I had to fill in, the area I had to fill in was the area here, and that's what I've used the Aves epoxy sculpt for. So that part's done. I don't have anything else to add on the pylons. There is a piece that goes in there for the blowout panels, but I've got a resin piece for that, if that's what you're talking about. But those will be added in at a later time. Although the area that I'm looking at, where it's showing the wire channel a little bit, it might actually be underneath the blowout panels. And if it's underneath the blowout panels, then I probably won't have to worry about that. But I will double check the blowout panel positioning, and see and see if I need to do any of that. Aren't there like grills or some details at the very end? Yeah, so those are the blowout panels. Let me get my phone up and running again here. Let me switch over. Getting the Stream Deck set up on my iPad is going to be really helpful for doing all this. So those are what you're talking about there. So those are a resin piece that will be added, the blowout panels, and they do hide a multitude of sins on there. So does the Aztec paint job. You can't see a lot of the stuff once the Aztec paint scheme gets on. So there's a bit of a how much work do you want to do on it to smooth it out ahead of doing the Aztec, and how much is the Aztec actually going to cover so that you can't see any of the seam work. So there is a bit of a give and take there on that. And the Aztec paint scheme does help in dealing with a lot of those seams. So there we go. That's going to be it for tonight. I hope that you've enjoyed. Oh, Dash says yes. So that's what he was referring to. All right. I hope let me try that again. I hope you've enjoyed the live stream. If you did, make sure that you hit that like button. If you're new to my channel or you haven't done so yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button today. You'll make me very happy if you do. But for now, my name is Andrew. This has been Canadian Starships Live. Have a great night, everyone.